Warm and wet are two words to describe the last few weeks of April weather. Meteorologist John Burchfield here in this week's edition of the Climate Friday newsletter. In the last few weeks, we have really added to the rainfall surplus and also logged our first 80-degree temperature reading of the season. So in this week's Climate Friday, we're going to talk about the warm and wet conditions and the link between climate change and also where do we go from here and how will this April stack up in the record books, both in terms of precipitation and in terms of temperatures. So let's break down the data and get into the warm and wet conditions, including that elusive first 80-degree day, which came a bit early this season. On Sunday, we officially logged our first 80-degree temperature reading at Toledo Express Airport. The mercury climbed to 81 degrees, coming just shy of the record high, which was set, ironically, just a year ago. We normally see our first 80 of the season in late April on the 27th. We were about 2 weeks earlier than normal this year, and that falls within the framework of climate change that we are seeing earlier than normal warm conditions. Near record warmth occurred on Sunday at 81 degrees. We did fall short of the record of 85, and that was set just a year ago in 2023, a year that brought also some unseasonable early warmth in the month of April. Now, we had a string of warm days that has overall amounted to a warmer than normal month of April. Following that 81, we climbed up to 74 on Monday, well above average. Even when we fell back to the upper 60s Tuesday, that was still warmer than normal for the middle of April, and we rounded that out with a near 80-degree day Wednesday, along with some severe thunderstorms. As a whole, April is checking in at over 4 degrees above average, and that is in the Toledo area, 4.3 so far warmer than normal, and that factors in both the daytime highs and the overnight lows. Now, even though we have hit that 80-degree temperature mark, we are still falling short of the overall warmest April days ever logged in the Toledo area. The top two on that list are 89-degree days. A pair of 89s occurred in 1915 and also 1942. So we're still far behind that. We've had several 88-degree days also, and you'll notice one commonality is that most of these occurred at the very tail end of the month, as April tends to be a month of change, bridging the gap between the early and the later spring season. So by late April, getting those upper 80s is a little bit less unusual than it would be earlier on in the season. Now, even though we do turn cooler briefly for the weekend, a warmer than normal weather pattern is expected to take shape by next weekend, and this weather map shows you the long-range trend from the 25th through the start of May. It is very likely that we will round a corner back towards some warmer than normal conditions into the start of the month. So that is the warm part. What about the wet part? April has been exceptionally wet as well, and that is a trend that has occurred all spring long. Anomalous precipitation, very heavy rain, and frequent downpours. Our spring rainfall so far is over double what is normal. We are at close to 9 inches of rainfall, and we will likely be adding to that tally as we get the official rainfall reading from overnight into Friday morning. Spring rainfall coming in at 8.84 inches of precipitation. Just in the month of April, we have logged well over 5 inches of rain, and that puts us at over 3 inches above normal for the month. Our spring total, close to 9 inches, is over double what it normally would be during the springtime. And of course, we're not done with April yet, nor are we done with spring. So there will be time to add to those tallies and really add to the surplus. If April was to end today, it would be the 8th wettest on record, and we still have over 10 days left in the month to add to our rainfall total. Due to the inundation of rainfall, we have seen many areas that have seen rising river levels, localized flooding, ponding of water, and muddy conditions. A lot of those characteristic telltale signs of spring, but just a little more extreme due to how frequent the rainfall has been and also how heavy those downpours have been. We do have some dry days over the weekend to dry out the saturated soil, but again, if April ended today, it would be the 8th wettest on record, and we are continuing to add to that total. The wettest Aprils topping the list with over 7 inches of precipitation. That occurred in 1929. In April in more recent memory, 2011 brought over half a foot of rainfall. 6.1 inches of rain fell in 1977. Looking back towards 1950, just shy of 6 inches of rain, and 1910 just short of 6 inches as well. And of course, those numbers include the entire month. We are not even close to being done with April yet, and we have over 5 inches of rainfall. Now, what's interesting is this month has produced significantly more rainfall than any of the past 4 Aprils entirely combined. In 2023, we picked up a little over 2 inches of rain. 2022 was a very dry April with less than 2 inches. We came closer to 3 inches in 2021, and in April of 2020, 1.69 inches of rain. rainfall. Now, overall, spring weather is getting a bit wetter due to climate change, but this past data does go to show that the local weather pattern and the more day-to-day and week-to-week variations that occur in the weather, those can play a bigger factor than the overall trend of climate change. This April has been a telltale sign that downpours and heavy rain is becoming more commonplace, but as we saw, there are outliers to that, and this April really stands out from the last few years in terms of rainfall. So warm and wet, two W words to describe this month so far, and we're not done just yet. In fact, we are still going to add to those rainfall totals despite a drier than normal trend into the weekend. If you're not already subscribed to the Climate Friday newsletter, WTOL.com/email, we've got new information coming to your inbox each and every Friday, and also new videos on YouTube, WTOL 11 Plus, and WTOL.com. You can check out all of our social media channels, and we'll see you in next Friday's edition.